Welcome to the Art of Spirit. This is the first collective reading. I intend that this video will find its audience and target its messages to that audience. So I have started with pulling 4 tarot cards. I am using the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. And the first card that I've pulled for today is the Temperance card. The Temperance card is a message here of acquiring inner balance. It is necessary now more than ever to find this inner balance and to reconcile your spirits within yourselves, because the world is incredibly chaotic, and I know that is a timeless statement, that the world is chaotic, the public is chaotic, the political atmosphere is chaotic. However, it seems the momentum surrounding the collective in those aspects has really focused itself into an exponential state of chaos. While yes, things have always been kind of crazy, it seems we are living in a time where that has really accelerated itself. So while all of that goes on outside of you, you're being called to look within, to tune out all of the distractions, to kind of unplug, not just for the state of your mind, but for the state of your spirit. Your soul needs to be nourished, and it cannot be nourished when you are constantly plugged into the matrix, as they say, but in more concrete terms, if you are constantly glued to a screen, if you are constantly needing an outside stimulus to distract you from the unsettling feelings within yourself, it's really an unhealthy state of being, especially when it's long term and when you're not having any breaks. So Spirit is really calling us here today to tell us that we need to unplug. Now, what does that look like? You don't have to deactivate your social medias. You don't have to unsubscribe from news outlets. You don't have to unplug your internet. Those things do work and can be helpful. However, it's not necessary in order to find balance within yourself. I recommend that you try a variety of different things, but that you start small. And one of those things would be to meditate. And I know meditating is something that seems so difficult for some people. In fact, I would even go as far as to say for most people. I myself have struggled with meditation over the years, and I have learned that meditation isn't the same for everybody. It's not even the same for yourself every single time you meditate. It's really just carving out time, and not much time. You can start with 5 or 10 minutes a day, and whenever you call called to do it, I've found that if you put yourself in a position where you're efforting, where you're trying too hard, where you're forcing yourself to do it, it really doesn't have the benefits, or the full benefits rather, that it should. So if you can start small and just quiet your mind, and for most of us, with all of this chaos going on, the thought of quieting our mind is substantial. It sounds ridiculous, but focusing on, um, your breath, on counting, on visualizing blank spaces, anything to take your mind off mostly anxious thoughts, but honestly, any thoughts. Um, and if that doesn't work for you, if that's too overwhelming, I do recommend trying to reconnect with nature and feeling it, like allowing your senses to come alive. Uh, the sounds when you go on a hike, through the woods, the crackling of the leaves beneath you, or if there's a stream or river nearby, like the sounds of that. Even the sounds of the animals, of birds, and of the little critters on the ground. That can be really distracting in a healthy way. So, not distracting in the way that the media is, but distracting yourself from all the anxious thoughts, and all the outside noise. And it can be a calming experience, and in that way, it can be a meditative state too. If you listen to, um, you know, I don't know if I'm going to butcher how this pronunciation is, but solfeggio frequencies, um, basically different frequency musics, to kind of help you tune out the worlds and focus on that. Basically, what you want to do is stop the momentum in your mind, right, in your thought processes of negativity, of anxiousness, of frustration, just those lower vibrational thoughts and feelings. And in stopping that momentum, not efforting, not trying to turn those vibrations around into a higher frequency, but simply distracting yourself from it, stopping it. And in that idleness, your body, your mind, your spirit will naturally rise, your vibration will naturally rise. And in that sense, uh, you'll start to find balance. Um, this can sound redundant, and I apologize if it sounds redundant to you. However, it's absolutely necessary right now. If this message is reaching you and you have tried and tried and tried and tried and it hasn't worked, um, I'm telling you now that you are being called to discipline yourself and to try again. And I hope that the word discipline doesn't come across in the way it probably is coming across, in that you are forcing yourself to do it, but more so disciplining yourself from, or rather withholding yourself from the negative thoughts of preventing you from even trying in the first place, because you've done it before, it hasn't worked, and what's the point? Well, there is a point, and you've tried it before. However, you're different now. It's the time now. You've built up enough where you can and you will succeed at this. And again, it doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to look the same every day. But ceasing the negative momentum in your thoughts, in your thought processes, in your emotions is going to give you a leg up in trying to find your inner balance. Once the collective finds this inner balance, um, the world will really, fall at your feet. Um, so that is something, that I am excited to see, not only for you all, but for myself as well. The second card that I pulled was the Page of Swords, and it is so funny to me that I pulled this because, especially after going on in a whole spiel about the Temperance card and balance and finding that within yourself, because the Page of Swords is really coming in with this restless, anxious energy. And I get it. I get it. There have been so many people, myself included, that have felt as of late that something has got to give. And it's almost this, like, I don't know how to describe it, but when your leg shakes, like, and you can't stop it, it's constantly shaking. You're just in this state of anticipation, and it's exciting, but it's almost frustrating how long it's gone on. It's giving this energy, and I'm thinking that the in the quest to find inner balance, in that meditative state, in those quiet moments, it's gonna help accelerate the process of what's to come. The next card that I pulled is the Lover's card. Now, the Lover's card is such a huge deal. It is a major arcana card, much like the Temperance card that is a major arcana. Page of Swords is minor arcana. I'm not going to go too much into basic things about readings. I imagine the audience that will find this is familiar with these things, with these terms. And if they aren't, I do apologize, and I encourage you to look up and research a little bit. I don't want to go too much into describing basic things, especially when I feel the audience will know it already. And if that ever changes, if I ever decide or feel called, rather, or inspired to create videos that are more descriptive and laying a foundation, then I absolutely will do so at that time, but now isn't the time. So back to the Lover's card. The Lovers really has captivated a huge part of the collective, and it has mainly captivated the divine feminine part of the collective, because it seems that the divine feminine is more aware of, more conscious of these spiritual, or not these spiritual, but the spiritual aspect of our existence. And a huge aspect of that is your counterpart. The divine masculine and the divine feminine come together as one, sharing a vibration, but still two distinct halves of a whole. If you are a part of the collective that is here in this human experience on a path, a specific path of unification of those two counterparts, it can be an incredibly rewarding experience. However, it can also be an incredibly frustrating experience. Now, the presence of this card isn't giving me any specifics at this time. However, it's here to tell me that the audience will be hearing more about this. So it seems that I will be delving into maybe specific divine feminine readings or divine masculine readings. But at this time, we're just going to keep it as you are definitely the part of the collective that is here on that journey to find your twin flame. And it's closer than you think. Wherever you are, wherever you find yourself at in that journey, in this aspect of your life, because you have different aspects. You have your financial, your career, your spiritual, your relationships, your familial. Like, there are different aspects of your life. And I don't want to exclusively speak to one, but I do want to say, like, exclusively speak to one as far as for the channel and for future readings. I want to keep it open. But it is very clear to me that this is going to be a theme here, and that at the start of that theme, the message that Spirit has for you is that it is close. So union is close, union is imminent. And if you already have found yourself in union, but things are not settled, and that can look different for different people, and that will make sense to you if it makes sense to you, as frustrating as and elusive as that sounds. Union is imminent, so I'm gonna leave it at that. The last card and the fourth card that I pulled for today is the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is a very special message, and it's going to tie back to the Temperance. The Hierophant is also a major arcana card. So of the 4 cards here today, 3 were major arcana and 1 was minor. But the Hierophant is here to tell you, and please listen, please listen. You know everything. You don't even need this reading. This reading may be kind of telling you, reaffirming what you already know. But none of this is news to you. It's almost frustrating how much you already know this. But it is still reassuring to hear it anyway, to have that reaffirmed for you. The Hierophant is your wealth of knowledge. You don't need me to, or anybody, to tap into Spirit and provide a reading for you, whether it is a collective reading, whether it is a one-on-one reading. It's not necessary. It is there for you as as a plus to help assist in guiding you, but your main guidance is from within. It's your own intuition, it's your own higher self providing that. And your conscious self may not be aware of all the answers right now in this moment. You may not have it all present in your conscious mind, all of the answers. However, you are able to tap into that wealth of knowledge, that institution of knowledge that is timeless. It's not just everlasting. Everlasting implies time. This is outside of time itself, this knowledge. And at any moment, once you hone in on the skill, through meditation, through other spiritual practices, to tap in to your higher spirit, for this knowledge, yeah, you have the answers. So I'm gonna leave it there. I imagine that these readings will evolve into something more. I will likely learn to pull more cards and uh, speak on more details. However, I am assuming that it's going to start in a very general place, and hopefully, I look forward to, a community building here. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions, you're welcome to put them in the comments below. Um, if you liked the video or if anything resonated, I hope that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for any future readings. And who knows, as the channel grows, um, we'll see where this community takes us. Again, this is the Art of Spirit, and I thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.